Yo, what's going on YouTube? How you guys doing? Welcome back to another gameplay review video. This time we got a high rank clown game. This is a rank 2 clown. And another note was left with this one, and I kind of like to just read out the notes that were left because I think it explains the mindset of the person that reviewed or submitted the review, and I think that should help a little bit. If this is your first time watching a video like this is a series where I basically have gameplay that gets submitted by my viewers, and I will go through their game and talk about the mistakes that they make as well as things to do right, and you know, basically talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what they could have done to make the outcome of the game better. If you guys want to submit your own footage, I have a whole channel on Discord that's dedicated to it, so feel free to go and check it out and submit. But before you submit, make sure you check the pinned messages in Discord to follow the guidelines. If you don't follow the guidelines, you're going to have your video removed, so make sure to follow the guidelines. So this is a high rank clown. Everyone in this game is high ranked. The clown's rank 2, possibly rank 1. Maybe the D-Pip put him to rank 2. I don't know. And all the survivors are basically red ranks as well. The note here says this is a gameplay with, I'm not going to say the result, but blank kills as clown against the 4-man squad with friends. They said, I asked them after the video cuts. To be honest, I only thought so because they coordinated on heals and saves, but they weren't sweaty, just efficient on swamp. In my opinion, I think I played to the best I could. I wasn't wandering around too much. I did make some mistakes, and my chases were fast-ish. The add-ons that I was using were thick cork. Okay, I already know that. Just double reload. To be honest, I don't really know what I did wrong, and I don't know how getting a 4K would have been possible in this situation, considering the map and perks they were using. I didn't use slowdown perks. That would have been the best way to create more pressure. Or sorry, they said what would have been the best way to create more pressure and have them off the gens. Please help. So honestly, considering you're playing one of the weakest killers in the game on one of the hardest maps, like if we just get rid of all this shit and we look at, like, you're playing clown and you're on grim pantry, like that's already a recipe for disaster right here. I mean, I don't even gotta watch the game yet, but it's definitely possible that you did play this game well, and maybe you just got cucked over by the fact that this is really hard to do. Like winning a game against good survivors on a difficult map like this is tough. Because the upstairs of the main building is basically like an infinite on this map, which is definitely really rough. We're off the bat. Let's see if there's an obsession. Of course there is. Let's talk about your build before we do anything else. So you're running double reload add-ons, which is, in my opinion, one of the best add-on combinations on clown. I think there's a few different combinations that are really strong, and this is definitely one of them. The reload is brutal on clown, and this cuts it from 5 seconds to fucking 2 seconds. This add-on removes 2 seconds, and this add-on removes 1 second. So it literally cuts it in half, even more than cutting it in half. It cuts it down a lot. That is a significant decrease to your reload. So your reload's going to be fucking fast as shit. You're going to be reloading super fast. Also, your build is not too bad either. You said that you're not running any slowdown, but you are running Sloppy Butcher. That's definitely slowdown. You're running 1 slowdown perk in Sloppy Butcher, although usually people run more. Usually people run like at least 2, especially on somebody like Clown, but you are running Save the Best for Last, which helps you a lot. Did I just make my thing smaller on accident? How did I do that? You're running Save the Best for Last, and then you have 2 tracking perks, which you could maybe say is overkill. Like running 2 tracking perks might not be necessary, but hey, I mean, if you use it well, you might be able to be really efficient. So let's see. This build is definitely an aggressive build. This is a very aggressive build. If you're going to be running a build like this, you need to be ending chases very quickly, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Your build is basically like reload fast and a bunch of chase and tracking perks. Like this is like find people, use your bottles, kill them, reload mega fast, kill the next person. Like you basically can't fuck up at all, or else you're going to lose this game really hard based on your build. So let's just see how it goes. Overall, a pretty good build though, I gotta say. Like honestly, I like it. I would maybe replace, like my go-to clown build is this exact build, except I replace Whispers with Corrupt. So it's pretty close to my build. Whispers goes off. You also heard an explosion over there. The game sounds kind of quiet. I can't really do much about that. It's just gonna kind of be a quiet video. You immediately, wow, you find like 2 people. You throw some bottles. You find a Dwight. Very good. It's already gas, so you should get a hit here for free, and you do. There's also there's an Adam there, but you shouldn't commit to him. You should stay on the Dwight, and you do, which is good. Great bottle. I mean, you're using your bottles really well. Like that was a really good use of your bottle. You basically completely shut down. I mean, that was great. You're already off to a great start. You're doing great. Like right here, this is exactly how you want to use clown. Like, sorry, after you get the hit, like right here, you like bomb the loop. Like that bottle that you just threw will spread along the whole loop. Like this is gonna spread. That's gonna go everywhere. That's gonna like cover this entire area. So if he tries to loop back around, he's gonna get slowed, which will give you a free hit. That's really good use of your power. Like that's great clown use. And he's forced to run away, and there's nothing out here, so then you just get a hit for free. Great start. I gotta say, fantastic start. I was trying to find a way to see if I can turn up the volume at all, but it doesn't seem like I can. It just seems like it's kind of quiet. So I apologize. I think this video is going to be like 90% my voice and like 10% the game sound, which is not really ideal, but I still want to review this game because I feel like you already know, like, it feels like you're already playing well. And I really like reviewing games where people play well, but they still lose. Like right here, it's a great decision to slug this guy. I don't know if you like heard this guy or how you knew he was here, but like, you left him on the ground and now you have another chase. This is great. And look at that. That was another great use of bottle. The Dwight got picked up, but that's okay. All right, I'm just gonna back this up and talk about this. A really good way to use bottles in a position like this is to bomb. Like if you can hit your bottle like right on the window. Like for instance, if you smash the bottle off of this part of this wall, it'll just spread to this side. It won't go through the window, right? It won't go to the other side of the wall. It'll just cover right here. If you can break the bottle like on the window or like or like at the very top of the loop, it'll spread to that side and this side. It'll come to like both sides. It kind of seems like your bottle hits like right here, which is really good. If you can get your bottle to hit like right on the edge of the window, which it kind of looks like yours does, it hits like somewhere on the edge. You see how the gas kind of spreads out to this side too? That's really, really good. It's really difficult to do because you have to be really accurate, and like being accurate with clown isn't always the easiest thing in the world since there's like no crosshair. But if you can manage it, it's really good. You did a really good job here. And this guy gets slowed on the other side. He has nowhere to go. You get a free down. The Dwight got picked up, but that's okay too because that means they took time healing. You're gonna take time to hook him, which is great. I mean, you're off to a great start, man. This is a great start. That reloader's fast as shit. Literally 2 seconds. And you know that Dwight just got picked up here, so now you can look for him. Yeah, you found the Dwight and the Claudette. Good, good, good. That's not a Claudette. That's a Jane. That's a Jane. Huh. I wonder where this game goes bad. Where does this game go bad? Because you're off to a great start. You're off to a fucking fantastic start. You probably should chase the Jane and leave the Dwight alone since he's your obsession and you don't want to lose stacks. But it's also kind of looking impossible. You might just have to kill the Dwight. All right, he vaults that. You vaulted after him. You were even watching for window tech, which was actually really smart. You did some more stacks, but that's okay too. It wouldn't be crazy here to slug him again, to be honest. That hook is kind of far. Okay, this isn't a horrible idea either. I will say it would not be a crazy idea to slug him and then either A, try to find the Jane that might be nearby, or B, run back to the hook, you know? Because you know for a fact, you know 100% for a fact someone's going to that hook. Someone's on their way to that hook. So you could slug this guy, although the hook is pretty far away. I think you actually made the right play by picking him up. I gotta say though that you're so far you're playing great. Like even this minor detail of like looking for this window fake or this window tech, like if someone window techs you, like backing up and then moonwalking and facing the other way basically stops any potential like window tech, which is really good. If you guys don't know what window tech is, it's basically where you can break collision after a killer vaults and then go through them. And you looked out for it, which was great. Like that's some real advanced shit. So well played there, honestly. I don't even feel the need to go into detail about that because it's such like a minor thing that doesn't happen very often. There was someone like right on top of you, but you just ignore them. Looks like you're going to carry him over here and hook him. All right. Bam, bam, biggity. Bam, bam, bow. These guys are definitely getting some gen progress, though. Like, that gen was getting worked on that whole time. That gen down below was getting worked on the whole time. Like, these guys are not fucking around. They are definitely getting some gen progress done, which is kind of a shame. These are the teams that are really hard to beat as clown. Okay, they're here. You can bomb the side of the loop and then loop it. Okay, maybe they're not here. Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, they just left. See, I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were there too. I would have made that same mistake. Those scratch marks were very deceiving. I couldn't really tell where the hell they were going. You're gonna follow up here. Still following the scratch marks. Still try. I wish I had volume. It's actually really hard because no volume. Because in a situation like that, you want to listen for grass. There was grass all over that loop. So if the guy was stealthing and like crouch walking around the rock, you can hear the grass moving. But unfortunately, I can't really hear anything because the volume is super low. You played that a bit odd. Now he's gonna get back up possibly. Okay, you're like looking around, but you're still committed to him. You're gonna let him get the loop again? Maybe not. All right, I mean this is okay. You made like a minor slip up when you first went up. That like let him get the window, but you're doing good. You got a hit there on him. That's good. You have no bottles though, but that's okay. You're gonna reload. Okay, I actually don't even know how that happened. Again, I don't have volume, so maybe that was something to do with like sound that I missed there, but I don't even know how the hell he ended up vaulting right on top of you. But hey, man, that worked out really well. These guys are all about the body blocks, dude. My God, they're just giving you hits for free. I wouldn't reload there. It's like this is like a real nitpicky thing, but like there's literally 3 survivors all around you that are all like you're literally in the middle. Like you're right here, and there's a survivor going that way, there's a survivor going that way, and there's a survivor going that way, right? So for you to take the time to reload and just let them get even more distance is kind of not good here. You even still had a bottle. Like I know the reload's only 2 seconds. Don't get me wrong. I know the reload's only 2 seconds, but still, that's still extra distance. That's still like that makes you take like another maybe like 5 seconds of running after them before you can actually catch them. So it might not seem like a big deal, but it's actually kind of a big deal. Like that just gives them even more distance. It makes it take even longer to catch them. Unfortunately, though, you come right up and find this Jane right away and you kill her, which is great. Those other guys are hurt with Sloppy Butcher applied to them, so that's great too. You could base him with this guy, or you could just bring him out here. Looks like you're going to bring him out instead, which is, you know, not terrible. Trying to find your way down to that basement is sometimes pretty miserable. Man, these guys are just really efficient. I could already tell. These guys are just doing gens. Like they are not wasting any time not doing gens. These are the kind of teams that are really hard to beat, like regardless of whether they're even like good at looping or not. These guys are, I can already tell. Like you're going to not make any mistakes. Like this is a major mistake. That's a horrible mistake. I don't know why you're doing this. I think you can beat these guys. Like you definitely can. These guys are difficult to beat, but you can't make any mistakes. And this is definitely a mistake. Like taking the kind like taking the time to kick that gen instead of chasing any of those people that you had chases on. Actually, you got really lucky. It wasn't that bad because there was a Nia here. You actually got really lucky there. But that was definitely a misplay. Like not knowing that Nia was there. Like there's a guy right here that's injured, right? Like this dude right here is injured, so like this guy is like close to being down. There's also a Dwight right there that you can chase that you could at least get a hit on, although he's going to a pretty good area, so it's not a crazy idea to not chase him. But honestly, I would have turned right around and fucking went after the guy that was at Shack and tried to down him. Like I think taking the time to kick this gen, if these survivors were smart, like this Nia just tried to go for a stealth play. If she was smart and just ran the fuck away, you would have had no one anywhere near you. Like no one would have been anywhere close to you, and you would have had to run miles to catch up to people. So you kind of lucked out that this Nia stayed nearby, because then you can get a free hit on her, which then, you know, applies Sloppy. The guy at Shack is probably going to go for the unhook, and he did, which means the Nia and the Dwight are both over this way. That was a great bottle. Exactly what we said about the bottles earlier. Covered both sides, but then you kind of just eat a stun. You don't break the pallet, which is smart because she wasn't playing it. Dude, like you're making a lot of good plays. You're making a lot of very, very good plays. Except for this. Like, why are you reloading right now? I guess it's not terrible because of your reload add-ons. I don't like the reloads like when you should be trying to get distance on people, you know? Like you should be trying to gain distance. Great bottle placement. All right, what's going on here? Good. I mean, there's gas all throughout Shack, so he's not gonna be able to make it anywhere. Although you're gonna lose stacks again. This is why I don't like Save the Best for Last on Clown. I know that Save the Best for Last is like a perk that everybody loves, and every time I trash on it, people are like, "Tofu, what do you mean? Save the Best for Last is the best perk in the game. What are you talking about?" Yeah, but like, don't get me wrong, it is good. But I personally only run this perk on killers where I can actively avoid losing stacks. Killers like Pig and Demo, where you can use like your ambush or your shred to avoid losing stacks, because otherwise you get into situations like this. Like you cannot stop finding this Dwight. This Dwight is everywhere. He keeps body blocking. He keeps popping up everywhere. You can't really get to a high amount of stacks because he just keeps showing up, and then you lose all your stacks. You're basically a 3 perk killer right now because your Save the Best for Last is just doing nothing. And like that kind of sucks, you know? Anyway, sorry, that's not too important. It's just a little nitpick again that I have. I think Save the Best for Last is a very like high risk perk. It's a very, very high risk perk. It's like sometimes you'll get a ton of value and sometimes you will get no value. I think you actually could have played this better. Actually, like after you get this first initial hit here, like you played this really well, and I really like how you're throwing your bottles in Shack. This is like a clown play of someone that knows what they're doing. Because if you don't know, if you blow up your bottles higher up, they spread more. Like the higher in the air that your bottles explode, like hypothetically, if you can explode a bottle up here at the top of this tree, it would spread like huge, right? As opposed to throwing it directly on the ground. So like hitting the roof of Shack is really good. If you explode a bottle on the roof of Shack, it'll spread all throughout Shack. So like your bottle positioning here is good, but you could have made a better play here on this window. Like you did a really good job of using that bottle placement to get your first hit. Like that's kind of how you got your first hit, as well as this bottle. But what you could have done here, and what you should always do with basically any window like this, when they're running by, you should always fake the one way to try to bait them into going that way, right? Like you want this guy to go that way. Like you want him to loop the big side. Like basically this side of the window is huge and then this side of the window is small, right? Like this is the small side and this is the big side. So you want him to loop the big side against Clown because you can slow him down. So what you want to do here is you want to like start going that way so that he sees you, right? Like he'll see you running to the right. And because he's a survivor, he's going to loop the opposite direction, right? He's going to go the opposite direction. So he's going to go that way. And then once he goes past the window, you vault it. So as you're vaulting, he's going to the left, and that'll force him to be on the big side. And then you can turn around, throw a bottle at like the roof of shack, and then just loop in. And then he has nowhere to go. And then you get a hit, and then he goes down. Like you could have downed him right here for sure. You absolutely could have downed him. Now, instead, you kind of misplay it a little bit and let him have the pallet, which he stuns you with, and then you kick it, and then like now how long is it going to take before you down him, you know? Like you could have had it down, and now who knows how long it's going to take. As a matter of fact, you're literally just giving up chase. You find a couple more people, so you're going to go hit these guys. I mean, at least you get your stacks back. What the hell just happened right there? That was weird looking. At least now you can get your stacks back, I guess. So like, I guess it's not all bad. You find this Nia, you're going to hit her with a bottle again, slow her down, really good. Throw another one on there just for good measure, why not? Honestly, it's kind of a little bit scary that you're not baiting dead hards. Like, I know that this guy didn't dead hard yet, but it's very possible for this guy to have dead hard. Like, that was the first time ever downing him. That guy definitely could have had dead hard. You didn't really take any time to bait his dead hard. Like, if you would have dead harded you there, I mean, I don't know if he would have made it anywhere, but he definitely could have dead harded you. That's way too far. I don't know what you're throwing at. All right, you throw another bottle. This is also fine. You got the hook, and then you're just coming after the dude that you saw with your... Like, this kick. No, this kick. No, stop. Stop it, man. God, I hate this. I feel like I see this in gameplay reviews all the time. This is not worth kicking, dude. Like, it's got one piston barely moving. This thing is like 5% worked on. Like, don't even bother kicking it. It's just a waste of time. You need to be finding people and getting the downs quickly. Like, he's probably hiding behind this wall. You didn't really take very, like, you didn't really look for him. You ended up finding someone over here, though. Like, there, I would have 100% just been looking for the survivor. Don't even bother kicking the gen. Like, you taking the time to kick the gen just gives the survivor more time to hide, which is exactly what they want. You're playing this pretty well. She's slowed on all sides, so you're going to get a hit here. You played that really well. Like, you kind of went for an ambitious swing, but the swing was actually okay. And then the whole loop was gas, so she really couldn't make it around. And then you looped her around, which is great. You're still chasing her. You got to stop reloading mid-chase, man. Like, I know you canceled that one, but you got to stop even, like, starting it. Like, again, I know it sounds like I'm being nitpicky, but, like, that just makes it take even longer to get your follow-up hit. You know what I mean? All right, that was a good bottle. You slowed her down. You're pretty creative with your bottles, though, which I think is good. She's gonna... I thought she would vault that, but I guess she didn't. You might have thought there was a pallet there, so you, like, moonwalked around. I mean, this is fine so far. I don't think she has dead hard, right? She hasn't dead harded yet anyway. I would still bait it just in case, but... Yeah, you get it down on her. That's okay. You're gonna get the hook on her, but these guys are just flying through gens, dude. They're just flying through gens. I think you've had everybody hooked one time. I think this will be her second hook. So you gotta start compiling some map pressure, like, ASAP. This dude runs in front of you. Like, even here, I don't like the reload, man. Like, he's right there, dude. He's right there. Man, like, you're reloading at the worst times. Like, you shouldn't be reloading when, like, there's a survivor close to you that you can be getting a hit on. Like, you hook this guy, and, like, this dude literally runs. Like, he's literally right there. Sorry, had some technical issues. He's literally right there, though. Like, he's literally right here. Like, you finish hooking her, and he is literally right fucking there. Right here. He's right here. He's like fucking 5 steps away, man. And instead of like going after him and getting a hit, you just like reload and like walk away and let him get a bunch of distance. And now he's gone. Like, look, you like go and you throw a bottle. He's not even in there anymore. You just completely give up. Like, you could have been getting hits on him, you know? Like, even just getting one hit and getting him injured and getting a stack of save the best for last is so worth it there. It's so worth it, man. You can reload some other time, you know? Like, right here is not a terrible time to reload because you're not actively chasing anyone or doing anything. But, like, see? And then this guy got the unhook. So, like, you didn't even apply pressure to the other people. Like, the other two people were probably just working on gens this whole time. The one guy that you could have chased, you didn't. He ended up just going and getting the unhook. So you, like, literally just did nothing that whole time. You could have easily applied some pressure and you didn't. So like that was a major slip up right there. That was definitely really bad. Because like the last two survivors are probably on the last gen and they're probably going to get it done any second now. I'm not sure what the last gen is. There's one there, one behind you, and there might be one across the map. You find the Jane again, but this is risky too because she might DS you. Like the idea here might be just kill the Jane. What are you? They're healing right there. What are you? Did you not see them? Wait, I'm so confused. Did you not see those guys? Hold on. Like I'm really confused. Like you find this Jane, and then I don't really understand what happened. Like maybe you're just trying to kill the Jane and that's it. Because like you see these guys healing right here. Like there's two people right here. They're both not the obsession too. So those both give you stacks. And they're in a pretty bad spot. And you have 3 bottles. Like you can throw a bottle at those guys, slow them down. You can down the Atom, possibly hit the Nia. I don't really understand why you're ignoring that. I think you're just trying to kill the Jane. Is that what this is? Because it looks like you come over here to the side because this is where you think Jane went. And you're like, blah, and you throw a bottle. Then you're like, oh, she's not actually there. And then you come back. And again, like, it might not seem like much just going to the side, but you could have gotten a hit, and now you're in this position where you don't. Okay, you got kind of lucky that guy just ran at you because there was a pallet right there. But you could have like easily got hits there, and you kind of gave it up. If this Atom would have played a little bit better, you might have not gotten a hit at all there, which is kind of scary. So I don't know about that play. They finished the last gen. I'm pretty sure the Dwight that was the obsession was probably working on that the whole time. What's your plan now though? You kind of just came right back to the hook. I would have went over there and started to fuck with them. What's your plan now? Are you just gonna camp the hook? Because that's probably not gonna work. You see someone on the gate, I would just full commit to her if I were you. You missed a couple bottles. Oh, you're missing all your bottles now, man. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like at this stage in the game, like your bottles were so good in the beginning. I feel like at this stage in the game, you might just be frustrated. Because your bottle placement was really good early on, and I feel like it's slowly started to decline as the match goes on. Like you're running T-walls the wrong way. I felt like you were playing chases so good early on, and now it's kind of falling apart. What are you doing? Like you're still running T-walls the wrong way. FYI, just like just so you guys know what I mean here, like by running T-walls the wrong way. Basically, like there's 2 different ways to run T-walls, right? Like here, I'll just draw it out. T-walls are shaped like this, right? With like a window here and a window here, right? So as a killer, if you chase clockwise, like this way, you can dictate which way the chase goes. And if you go clockwise, basically the survivor you'll never catch up to them. You'll basically never catch up to them until Bloodlust kicks in. Because they'll loop around, they'll vault this window, and as they vault that window, you have to go around this side, and then the survivor makes up a bunch of distance by hugging this wall and then going to that window, and then rinse repeating, right? Like your circles are way bigger than her circles, so you never really make distance, right? Whereas on the other hand, if you run it the correct way to run LT walls is to go counterclockwise, to go this way. Because basically what that does is it puts the survivor in a position where they're looping around and like instead of getting like a free vault, they have to vault this. Whereas like when you're chasing them as a killer, you're going to be right on their ass. So you can either double back and meet them on the other side or like follow through if you don't think they're going to vault. Like it basically puts them in like a 50-50 position, whereas looping clockwise gives them a free vault every time. So you want to make sure that when you're looping LT walls, you want to always make sure that you're looping counterclockwise. Always counterclockwise. Never go clockwise. And as a killer, you can control that. It's whichever way you go, they'll go the opposite way. So you were playing this wrong, which again, I think is so unfortunate because I feel like you know what you're doing as a killer. Like it feels like early in the match, you were playing so well. You were doing so well in chases. It really felt like you understood a lot. You were looking, I mean, hell, you were looking up for window attacks and stuff. Like you seemed like you know a lot about the game. So I feel like I might be wrong here, but it feels like this is coming from a place of like getting tilted or frustrated. This guy makes this pallet now. He has a ton of distance. You're going to get the down now, though. I mean, at this point, you're basically playing for 1 kill because you're not going to kill them all. And unless these guys just like suicide bomb the hook while you have 8 stacks, then maybe like you'll get a bunch of kills. But that's pretty much the only way. As a matter of fact, there is somebody here because of all these scratch marks. So they're up inside. They went upstairs. They're probably vaulting down. They're probably getting the unhook right now. Oh, he's right there. The hell is he doing? You should be able to kill him. So yeah, slug him. There you go. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They probably have borrowed time, though. But hey, I mean, you can kill the David. Or not the David. The Adam. You can kill the Adam. Better than nothing, I guess, right? I would have picked him up before he got to that pallet. You kind of let him crawl to the pallet. Well, there's a Jane here. Okay, this is good, too. This is good. She's also not the obsession, so free stacks. Got a hit on her. You can drop off. There you go. There you go. Down her. Now go back to the Adam. Yo, you can actually make this happen at the end. You can actually make this happen. No, 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 no. Why pick her up? Why pick her up? No, the Adam's fully recovered. Like, this guy is fully recovered. Oh, we're still on blue for some reason. This guy is fully recovered, and this guy is not. So, like, why the Jane here? Why the Jane? See, like, they're just going to immediately pick up. Like why? You could have went back and picked up the guy that was fully recovered. This guy was down on the ground, and he had Slobby Butcher applied to him. So, like, it would have taken forever for them to pick him up. You could have picked up the Adam there and then left the Jane on the ground and then probably gotten, like, 2, if not 3 kills from that. Maybe even more if they kept throwing themselves at you. That was a major misplay there. That's a misplay that I see people make a lot, too. I never get that. I never get why people do that. Like, if you down one guy and slug him and then leave him on the ground and then down somebody else, like, this dude is literally recovering this whole time. Like, he's literally just sitting there recovering. That's all he's doing. He's just recovering. And then, like, how long later? It's like 20 seconds later, you get it down. So, like, why? Like this guy has no recovery, and that guy has full recovery. Like, why would you pick up this guy? You should always go back for the first guy. Always, 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 always. Unless the first guy is, like, the whole way across the map, you should pretty much always be going back for him. Like, he's literally, like, 5 steps behind you, man. You can go back for him and kill him. You could have had 2 kills here, if not more. I mean, I bet that one of the other survivors was probably on top of that Adam healing him. So you maybe could have even gotten more hits, maybe more downs. You could have 4-man slugged him at the end here, honestly. With how stupid altruistically they're playing, you probably could have easily 4-man slugged them, but you kind of, like, just gave all that up by picking up this Jane. You're like, yeah, instead of all that, I'm just going to kill this one Jane and then just call it quits there. And then you do, and then they all leave, which is kind of a shame. I mean, these guys definitely played well. They're not, like, the best in chase. These guys didn't play like they weren't, like, the best survivors I've ever seen or anything, but they were definitely pretty good, and they definitely were efficient. That's for sure. They definitely were efficient in the sense that they did not mess around and they got gens done. Like, they got shit done. They did not mess around. Like, when you didn't have, like, total pressure on the map, they were getting gens done. So they definitely were a solid team, which is very difficult. But yeah, man, I mean, that's kind of rough. That's rough. I do think you played this game overall really, really well. I think this is just an example of playing a low tier killer. Like, you're playing probably, like, the weakest killer in the game versus a really good set of survivors. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. You definitely did have an opportunity to turn this into, like, a 2 or a 3K, but there was just some mistakes. Let me go back and try to point out the mistakes that I think were the most important. Like, this is, this is so nitpicky, and, like, I think it's kind of unrealistic to expect any killer player, even, like, really good killer players, to, like, never make a single mistake in a chase a whole match. So, like, I'm not going to give you too much shit for this, because I think even if you took, like, the best killer players in the world and watched their games, I'm sure there would be some mistakes like this that you can point out. But this is definitely an example of a thing that could have helped you a lot, right? Like, you could have mind gamed this window here. You could have. You definitely could have. And instead of mind gaming it at all, you just do, like, the most basic play of just vaulting it and giving this guy the pallet. And then that completely drops your chase here, which is a shame because this guy was injured and he was 1 shot from going down, and that would have given you map pressure, right? Like, down on this guy and hooking him would have given you map pressure. So that was a pretty big mistake. I think another place was, this one really hurt, but this one right here where you hook this dude, and, like, there's a guy right there, man. Like, he's right there, and you already have, like, some stacks to save the best for last. Like, you might not even have to use your power here. Like, you maybe could have hit this guy and then never even reloaded and then just hit him twice before you even had to. Because you had so many stacks to save the best for last, this guy wasn't even going to get that much distance from you hitting him. Like, if hypothetically, just going to throw this out there, if hypothetically you're able to hit this guy twice in, like, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds before they get this unhook, that changes everything. Like, say you run into Shack, this guy tries to, like, 360 you or something, and you hit him, and then he, like, doesn't get that much distance because of your save the best for last. You hit him again, and then this guy hasn't been saved yet. That's a game-winning play. You can then come back to the hook, defend it. The other 2 survivors have to get the fuck off gens to come save the person on the hook as well as the person downed. Like, that compound map pressure, that, like, getting multiple people down at the same time, is how you win games, especially against good teams like this. When you're going against a really good team who's playing really, really, really efficiently, you don't, it's not even like an option. Like, you literally need that. You need to have pressure on like multiple survivors at the same time. If you don't, then like nothing's gonna happen. And again, kind of like I said here, like you give up that chase, right? And you're just like, you turn the corner and you're like, oh, well, I guess he's gone now. Shit. And you go over here and there's like an explosion on that gen. So you're like, oh, I guess I'll go harass the people with this generator. And then, oh, there's still an arrow on the screen. Sorry. You're like, oh, I guess I'll go harass the people in this generator. Oh, they're gone too. Oh no, they're also gone. And then the Atom, like, then you reload for like no real reason. And then the Atom gets the unhook. And it's like, you didn't do anything. Like you could have made something happen there. And instead you like kind of do nothing. You kind of just like chase two people away and then you immediately let them go. And then they just fully recover. Right. And then you're right back to square one. You're right back to square one with like no downs, no pressure. So like that was a pretty major throw too. Like that was definitely really bad. I think you're like pretty good at the game. Like I think you understand the game pretty well. Your chase is pretty good. I feel like you generally understand how to use Clown and how to use his bottles at least decently well. Like you're probably like to an extent that's way better than most people that play Clown. I think your biggest issue is like reloading at terrible times. Again, I know you have reload add-ons, so like you might be justifying it by being like, well, my reload's practically instant. But even though it is, it's still losing you time, right? It's still losing you some time. And that's really not needed, especially if you're running a perk like Save the Best for Last. Like, you don't like necessarily need the Clown bottles sometimes if they're like in a dead zone. You know what I mean? And right now, Shack is a dead zone because they use the one pallet that's there. So I feel like I've seen you reload when you shouldn't have, like 5 times this video. And like again, like I don't know what to say about this play at the hook. Like I just don't get why. Like I don't understand why you don't chase this guy. Like right here, you just like reload and you just let him go and you just don't chase him. And it's like, why? Like just why? And then the final game throw, I guess, would be at the end here, but I already talked about this, how you like pick up the Jane instead of picking up the guy that was fully recovered. You definitely could have snowballed this. And I want to go ahead and throw this out there because I know people, I know it's like a whole debate where it's like, oh my God, Survive with Friends is unbeatable. Efficient teams of survivors are unbeatable. And I mean, I think this was a really good opportunity to beat them right here. This is a really good opportunity right here. Even after all the misplays that happened in this match, right here at the very end, you still had a chance to kill like 2 or 3 of them. Like this could have easily been a 3 to a 4K, like depending on how this went. If you would have not picked up this Jane and instead went down to that other guy that was slugged, because they're definitely on top of them, right? Like the second you pick up this Jane, watch. They run up, they start healing, bam, he's up. Like if you would have ran down there, you could have probably re-downed him if they picked him up. Or just, they might have even not even picked them up and you might have just found them and then got hits on them or downed them and you could have snowballed this into like 2 or 3 kills maybe at the end here. Because both these guys are dead on hook, by the way. Both Jazz and Kerosene are both dead on hook here. So you go to guaranteed have these 2 dead and maybe even another one dead. So even though like people will argue and be like, well, this is already at the end game and you're only getting kills because they're altruism. The end game is still a part of the game, okay? All because the gens are done does not mean the game is over. The end game is still a part of the game and you definitely could have got kills here. And that was definitely a pretty big misplay there as well. So overall, I think you just need to work on like your time efficiency and you need to keep in mind that giving survivors distance is huge, man. Like you need to really keep that in mind. Like for instance, if you, okay, how do I explain this? If you start here and the survivor starts here, right? And you guys are both running in straight lines. Like say that the survivor runs in a straight line and you run in a straight line after them, right? Like it'll take you, like let's just say it'll take you 4 seconds. Well, actually, that's even too short. Let's say it'll take you 10 seconds to catch up, right? So if you're in that same exact position, but like instead of running after the person, say you like reload first, right? Say you're like, I have time, I'll reload it. It only takes a couple seconds. You slow down to like a ridiculously slow speed. This guy is running the whole time, so he's actually starting at like right here. That adds like, I'm not even joking, that'll add like 5 more seconds. That turns that into like a 15-second chase. And I wish I was fucking joking, but I'm not. It takes killers so long to catch up to survivors that just hold W, especially if you give them a lot of distance. Like if you let them get a bunch of distance on you and they just run away, it'll take forever forever to catch up. That's why like reloading at these bad times is so impactful. Like I know I sound like a broken record about it, but it's a really bad habit to get into. Like you have to know when to reload and when to not reload. Like you don't necessarily need your power. And here's the thing, if you get to a tile where you do need your power, you can just reload at the tile, because then like what are they going to do? Leave? If you leave, you just cancel the reload and then go hit them. Like you pretty much should be exclusively, I don't want to say exclusively, but you can almost only reload at tiles, you know? Like you can chase them to the tile, and then once you get there, like they're probably going to be looping it, right? Like in the middle of looping, just stop and reload. Like what are they going to do? Leave? If they leave, you just leave with them and get the hit before they get to the next one, right? If they don't leave, then they just stand there and watch you reload, and then you can play the tile with your bottles. But like reloading when someone's like right in front of you, like you did after that hook, especially when someone's hooked in front of you, man. Like that's the worst too. Like when someone's hooked directly in front of you, that's also like the worst time, because like this is again where you're supposed to snowball. This is where you need to snowball. This is where you got to get the ball rolling, get multiple downs. This is like the worst possible time to reload here, man. Like the worst, the absolute worst. So that's your biggest problem. You did it a couple more times throughout the video, but I'm not gonna dig back and find every single time that you did it. I think you can probably just review the video yourself if you want to see it again. That's really all I gotta say though. Honestly, honest to God, I will say that you did play this match very well. I'm sure this was probably like the roughest game you had all day, because I do think you play killer very, 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 very well. It just happened, you just happened to run into a group of survivors that were also very, very good. And I mean, good survivors are very difficult to beat. Again, I do think your build is not, I do think you can replace either Save the Best for Last or Whispers with like something more to help you with slowdown, whether it's like Pop Goes the Weasel or Corrupt Intervention could definitely help you out. But all things considered, this was definitely a winnable game. You just had to basically make next to no mistakes, and you unfortunately did make a bit of mistakes, but honestly, you played really well. So just keep practicing, take the advice I gave you, and keep grinding. And I'm sure you'll probably be, I'm sure you 4K most of your games. Like based on how you play this, I'm sure most of your games are 4Ks. So you played well. I don't think I really have much else to say. So I think I'm just going to end the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. Leave the video a like if you guys did. Helps me a lot with the algorithm and all that. Sub to the channel as well, because I upload literally daily. And also feel free to stop by my Twitch stream sometime. I'm live 6 nights a week at twitch.tv/OhTofu. So feel free to stop by and say hello. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm out of here. See ya. Take care. See ya. I'm out of here. See ya. See you later. See ya.